She gets very excited uncovering pieces of history that maybe some people haven't touched in 60 years, and it just re-energizes us in our work. And when she uncovers these hidden treasures, it's just a treasure for us all. So you're an enthusiastic storyteller, and thank you so much for everything that you've done today. And Jen will give some more background on the exhibit itself and those who helped to make it possible. But I just wanted to thank you all for being here. Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming. I didn't expect to be on the cover of the Post-Journal today. That was a little crazy. But I'm glad it brought people out, and I had a lot of fun with this exhibit. One thing I got to do was spend hours and hours at the Fenton looking through photographs, and that was incredible. And I had a lot of help from people at the Fenton identifying photographs and dates and helping me find what I was looking for, so I want to thank them. And I also spent time at the Jamestown Public Schools archives with Pam Brown, and she gave us some materials that are on display here related to Jackson's time at Jamestown. And one of my favorite pieces of that is the Lyceum Minutes book, which the page I have open is when Robert Jackson was elected president of the Lyceum Debate Club. We have that on display. She was really great, and as far as everything I needed. Helen answered a lot of questions, and her publication is coming out soon. And a lot of questions about the Lakewood Stock Farm. One of the photos in there she provided about the Lakewood Stock Farm, a chapter in Jackson's life that was very important. And Bruce Janowski, who was here, and I don't know if he still is, okay, he provided support for us as well, so I'm very thankful for that. And I just learned a lot about who Robert Jackson was as a person from this exhibit, and researching him and who he developed, how he developed into the person that he was. The exhibit doesn't follow any kind of order, so I know there's a lot of text, there's a lot to read, but I didn't want to do anything, I wanted to give everything a moment to shine. And so there's 5 different sections to the exhibit. There's the education, and his teachers who were really important to him, Mary Willard and Milton Fletcher, the Lyceum Club, obviously. There's his law practice, and he practiced law for many years here, so I had to take some liberties there and pick out cases that I thought were very interesting, and talk about that. His politics, and how he kind of developed his political thought and his philosophies, and his family and recreation, recreation being mostly horses, and his love of horses, and his community involvement. All of the clubs he was in, I don't even know, every single club in Jamestown he was involved in, and I think that was a lot of his social life. He was out a lot with those clubs and involved in them, the Masons, the Elks, and that was a big important part of who he was. And he kept in contact with a lot of these people who he became friends with, whether it was through his law practice or through the community organizations he was involved in. He kept in contact with them through the rest of his life. So some of the artifacts and pictures reflect that. They're letters back to the community in 1950 and 1952, and talking about people that were very important to him. So I guess that's what this whole exhibit's about. So, yeah.
Jen, did you talk to us a little bit about the production? It looked great in there. How did you get it produced?
Well, I taught myself how to use InDesign software, which is a design program, and so I did all the design myself. And all the photos were scanned at the Fenton. I scanned them in a high resolution, and so I could produce them any size, basically. I could blow them up very large, have them the size 8x10s, and I just kind of found this kind of layout that I wanted, and I had help painting the whole show from David, my partner there. He was great helping me paint all the show. And Megan did a lot of the editing, because let me tell you, I love to write, but I need an editor. And she really did a great job as far as the editing goes on all of the panels. And I think that his politics, his early politics, that section is probably my favorite, because it really reflects a lot of how his how he developed and the person he was on the Supreme Court and the judgments that he had. And also, I think his time at the Eagles and the Saturday Night Club, that was very interesting to me because the debates that they had there, and they were all publicized in the Jamestown Evening Journal. Debates are all about like unemployment and what they called old age benefits, which is Social Security, and these different problems that society was facing at the time, and it really is almost exactly what we're facing now. And you can see the parallels, and that was very interesting to me. Plus, I never knew that they built the house on Fairmont. I always assumed that they moved right into that. And they actually did build that house, which I thought was very interesting as well. A case, the typhoid case, was the Forbes farm, and they, from what I understand, is that they, the milk that they were producing was infected with the bacteria, the typhoid bacteria. What happened was that there was a daughter-in-law on the farm who was a carrier of the typhoid bacteria. And in the process, they thought of milking or being a part of that she could have transferred this bacteria to the milk. But if you read through the case record, she really wasn't involved at all with the milking on the farm. So what Jackson did is he came in and he said, okay, there's got to be something else going on here. And he looked around in the environment and realized that Cassadaga Creek right there is where the sewage from the city was dumping into. And the cows were wading through that creek. And they might have carried the typhoid bacteria on their skins. And then in the process of milking, that was transferred to the milk. And nothing was passed, this is different times, So they couldn't really prove, there wasn't really, you never know, but they ended up awarding the Forbes family in the case. So because their business was ruined. And I think that was very interesting. In the house, the picture in there, we have the original documentary evidence files from that, so all the photographs that were used in the trial, that's where the picture comes from, as well as the map in the case, which has all the red dots where the typhoid bacteria, where the people came down with typhoid in different houses. That's all from our collection here at the Jackson Center. So.
I just want to add to that. It's interesting that very shortly thereafter, the city of Jamestown built a modern sewage treatment plant.
Yes, almost a year after, or 2 years. Yeah. So
years.
Everybody else like
Yeah, when they put things interesting. She ran $1,100. Well, it does hit that 33,000. Eventually. Yeah. But of course, some of them are not a lot. No.